Good afternoon, everybody. This is the old coach, and we're sitting here in the M.A.S.H headquarters in Blairsville, Georgia, on a beautiful piece of property, inviting you to join the M.A.S.H Army. And if you will, just take a look at this logo. And the awesome person who did this is actually sitting behind the camera over here, just directing all this, and we love her. But in that, notice peace, purpose, and power. And that is what you get when you're born again. And I know from all over the world, everywhere everybody talks about, but in your life, I'll be 79 years old in a couple of months. And in my whole life, the days that made a difference, we're writing a book about that right now. It's called What a Difference a Day Makes. But in that, there's only been 10 days in my life that really made a difference. And then we go back to, I'm a salesman, I'm a marketer. And the 80-20 rule is always in effect. 20% of the people do 80% of the work and make 80% of the money. Now, in God's army, we look at this and would ask the same questions that you would ask in the regular army. Now, I'm a combat veteran. Vietnam 67, 68 with the 173rd Airborne, which I am proud to say I was a member. But in that, when I was born again, what's my job? Why am I here? Well, the beauty of joining the M.A.S.H Army is to find, first of all, peace. And there's not a word more awesome in the English language than peace. Because peace, woo. And you can only get peace from God. There's the only true peace there is in the world. And then purpose. Find your purpose. That's the beauty of being born again. And you only get this when you're born again. And it's hard to describe until you do it. But it's like all them days in my life, the 10 days that made a difference, all of those wouldn't have been nearly as important had it not been when I get past it and look back. What did I see? What was in that? Now, if you have no clue what I'm talking about, you're not going to know till you try it. And I'm saying to you, be born again. You're going to find peace and then purpose. Now, when I joined the Army, it was strange. I was drafted. I didn't volunteer for nothing. Drafted in the Vietnam War. But as soon as you're drafted, they let you know that you are now property of the United States government. Well, when you're born again, I hate to tell you this, but you become the property of God. Now, probably a strange statement, but God, the God of the universe, has said, I'm here. I'm in you. I'm going to direct your life if you will let me. Now, the key word in that when I get to this is he will never interfere with the free will of any of us. We are free will to do. But in real life, finding peace is important. But then finding purpose. Now, in the Army, we call that M.A.S.H, Method of Service. They took you through basic training, and then you went to advanced training, AIT, Advanced Individual Training. And that's where you learn to do whatever your job was. Well, I like to ask this question every day. You want to go to heaven? I've never heard anybody tell me no. So, yeah, it's simple. Be born again. And all of that is solved for the rest of your life. It's done. you're going to heaven. Now, if you're half intelligent, you're wanting to know, well, what do I do after I'm born again? Well, you learn your M.O.S., method of service. It's called training. And GPS, which is God's purpose system, lives in us. It will direct us any direction. But I want my M.O.S., method of service. Well, I'm sitting here at 79 years old, and God said, go to work for me. Well, I'm sitting here this morning talking to a person that I respect as much as anybody alive, and we're just talking about what in the world does this mean? Well, what does it mean? What does it mean? I'm going to work for God. Well, when he said that to me, I thought he wants me to preach. I'm not a preacher. No. I'm a salesman and a marketer. So my method of service is like everybody's. How many people can we take to heaven with us? That's our method of service. And we can do any number of things. But what do we do to get service? Because it's exciting to me, and we actually was having a conversation about how do we get paid if we're in God's army. I understand how I got paid in the army. Oh, $318 a month. But we had a job to do, and we went and did it, and in a war zone, and all the stuff that went with it. But the reward of all of that, yeah, $315, yeah, but that wasn't the reward. The reward was coming home and hugging my mother. That's the reward. And I can't talk about it in money, because that wasn't the deal. But I could hear God speaking to me all the time I was there. There's snipers out there. This is dangerous. Be careful. Listening to that. So now my method of service is to try to get somebody to say, yep, I want to get born again. I want to have GPS in me. And I want to learn my purpose. And that purpose, once it's revealed to you, becomes very simple and very awesome. Just talk about it. Be born again. There's nothing more important.